You're listening to episode 65 of Liz's Healthy Table.
Looking for a healthy new way to feed your family without the hassle and hype? Welcome to Liz's Healthy Table, where your host, registered dietitian nutritionist Liz Weiss, serves up fresh and flavorful recipes with a tasty side of science, good nutrition, and fun. Are you and your family ready for some wholesome food that tastes great too? Don't change that dial. Your food adventure starts here.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. It is time to break out your boards because my guest this week is Maegan Brown, and she'll be here to talk about her stunning new cookbook, Beautiful Boards. Now, whether you call them snack boards or charcuterie boards, appetizer boards or cheese boards, Maegan has all of us covered with everything from her candy cane caprese board to her really cute pancake board and even her New Year's Eve board, where you will learn the best hack of all time for creating a cheese clock with Roman numerals. I am so making this board for New Year's Eve. Now, in my opinion, the best part about Maegan's boards are the fruits and the vegetables. She presents them in the most beautiful way for you and your family, guaranteed to promote produce consumption in your household. Here's the good news. We are giving away a copy of Beautiful Boards. So if you are as excited by this popular food trend as I am, you will definitely want to head to the show notes from this week's episode, number 65, over at lizshealthytable.com/podcast to enter for a chance to win. This is for U.S. listeners only, please. The show notes, by the way, will be loaded with pictures from Maegan's beautiful book. So definitely you will want to stop by, and you've got to see what that cheese clock looks like because it's really cool. And while you are on my podcast page, be sure to join my closed Facebook group, the Podcast Posse. It's open to everyone. If you join, you will always be the first to know what's happening in the world of Liz's Healthy Table. Liz's Healthy Table is brought to you by my friends at superhealthykids.com, your one-stop shop for recipes, meal plans, cooking videos, and tips for feeding kids of all ages. The show is also brought to you by the Parents on Demand Network, where you will find parenting podcasts featuring everything from pregnancy to the challenges of being a parent. For the lineup of shows, head to parentsondemand.com. So, are you bored with snacks and dinner? Serve food on a board and watch mealtime stress melt away. Hey, Maegan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Liz. Thanks for having me.
So let's just get started by having you tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You know, where do you live? You're a mom. What's the name of your blog? So just give us kind of the Maegan story.
Absolutely. My name is Maegan Brown, and I blog at thebakermama.com. I am a mom of 4 little ones, ages 8, 6, twins, that is, and a 3-year-old. The oldest 3 are boys, and the last one is a little girl. And we live in Dallas, Texas, and my husband is also a fellow foodie, and we just have a good time here in the Brown house. It's never a dull moment.
And the Baker Mama, what's your blog all about? Because, you know, you're on the show today to talk about Beautiful Boards, but your website's the Baker Mama. So just tell us a little bit about the blog.
Absolutely. I've been doing it since 2012, and it started out as a baking blog exclusively. And then I had children, and we started fixing more family meals. I started incorporating more family-friendly recipes on there as well as entertaining. So now it has well over 500 original recipes in every category, from appetizers to desserts and everything in between.
And where do you credit your love of food coming from? And, you know, a lot of people who have food blogs are not necessarily chefs, quote unquote, but yet they have this long history of food. So what's your foodie background?
Yeah, I would say my family has always loved food. We've always come together around the table and good food. My mom was a home ec teacher growing up, so she taught kids in junior high and high school how to cook, and I was one of those kids. And we just always gathered as a family every meal of every day. We grew up in a small town, so there wasn't a lot of eating out, and just to have a strong appreciation for home-cooked meals and just bringing people together around the table.
So Maegan, here's our 1 degree of separation then. Ready? My mom went to NYU back in the day. She's 87 now, and she was a home ec teacher as well.
Amazing. I love it. The pressure, I feel like the pressure of being the home ec teacher's daughter was pretty high.
Yes. And, back then, not only did they teach kids how to cook, they taught them how to sew.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes. I had scrunchies and pillows and all of the above. And it's so funny to this day, I still am not confident in how to sew on a button, and it drives my mom nuts.
Oh,
so I will save them all up on purpose and let her sew them on when she gets here, when she visits.
Well, the other day we were visiting my parents in Connecticut, and every time we're there, my mom says to my husband, Tim, all right, you've got to go through Bob's, that's my dad, Bob's clothes, because he's 89. He doesn't wear any of this stuff anymore. So Josh is my son. So Tim gets this sweater. It's a cashmere sweater. It's probably from the 70s. It is orange. It is fabulous. I'm like, oh my God, it's perfect. But there's like this tiny little hole, maybe a moth hole or something. I said, give it to my mom. She'll fix it. Like, I wouldn't even dare take a stitch to that. No way.
No way.
Mm-mm.
I'm not handy when it comes to that part, but I definitely picked up on the kitchen skills.
Yeah. Yeah. So did I. Like, totally grew up hanging out in the kitchen with my mom. My sisters know, but I did. And it's just so funny when we look at where we all get our love of food from. And it invariably starts in the kitchen, which is why I always say cook with your kids, engage your kids in the kitchen, get them involved. It really makes a difference.
It truly does. Yes, I completely agree.
So your website is The Baker Mama. Your last name is Brown. Your book is called Beautiful Boards. Everybody in your family, their name begins with the letter B. You have a child named Baker. What is with the B obsession? You have an M, like you're just the lone wolf here.
I know. It's so funny. So my husband is Brandon Brown, and I love the alliteration. And I was a Maegan Miller, and my sister was a Meredith Miller. So it was part of my growing up, and then my husband, had it. And so when we had our first child, we were like, oh, we fell in love with the name Baker, not necessarily because I love to bake. There was a library on the business school campus we were attending at the time, and we would walk by the library every day. And I was pregnant, and we saw, Baker Library. And so we would say, hey, that's, eventually it was like, that'd be a great name. And so first child, Baker Brown, and then just carried on from there. And we just couldn't shake the B names. So yeah. And even our dogs, it's crazy. Both of our dogs are Bella and Bruno. So,
so this has been deliberate.
Deliberate. Yes.
I see.
We tried with my daughter to veer off and do maybe an M name, but we had Brooklyn as like our favorite name. We never found out what we were having when we had each of the kids. And so we had either Brooklyn or Baker, and then we had Baker, the boy, and then the next time we had like a matrix for the twins, and we had 2 boys again. And so Brooklyn just kept getting passed down, and then we had a girl, and we just couldn't not use Brooklyn. So.
Yay. It's all about the bees. And I will say that my friend Valerie, who lives in Atlanta, Valerie Miller, and I'm going to tell her she better tune in. Her daughter's name is Maegan Miller.
I love it.
So I have a feeling we're going to have way too many connections today as we go through this podcast. So Maegan, what would you say then is your food philosophy? Because you've got this family of bees, everybody's coming together around the table, and, you started out with the Baker Mama thing, you're baking, but what's, your overall food philosophy, and how do you get these kids to eat, a healthy diet?
Yeah, I think our overall goal is to help our kids to have an appreciation for food. We're so blessed to have the wonderful food that we do have. And so we really try to encourage them to appreciate the work that goes into growing it, preparing it, and serving it. And then also when it comes time to enjoy it, we just really encourage them to try it. So we don't make them eat anything, but we just say, if you try this and you don't like it, fine, but chances are you might actually like it. And the way we serve our meals with the whole board concept gives them the freedom to pick and choose the foods that they want to choose. And it's so funny, as they get into it and they buy into the process, they start choosing foods that otherwise they would not eat, and end up liking something that they probably would have not wanted to eat if I had made them eat it and put it on a plate in front of them.
So if I were to walk into your house then, during family dinner, instead of you plating up everybody's meal, I'm going to see a board or a lazy Susan. I'm going to see something where everybody's kind of picking and choosing. Is that kind of the vibe there?
Absolutely. Yeah. We found that works best for our family, especially now that the kids are all feeding themselves and they can serve themselves. And it's just amazing to see how much they own it and they get excited about it. And once they've committed to something on their plate, they're more apt to eat it. Whereas if I handed them a plated meal and said, this is exactly what you're going to eat, I get a lot of negative feed. I'm not going to eat that. I didn't want that. That's not how I wanted it. Whereas if you put it on your own plate, you chose that. And it's just amazing to see how well they eat when they do select it and serve it themselves.
Yeah. And I think that little shift from pre-plating to just letting everybody help themselves is huge. It's a tiny shift, but I think it has a major, in fact, maybe the biggest impact on getting kids to get excited just to eat what's been put on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And it gives them options, and we always have healthy options. So we encourage them. Sure, we may have something that's not as healthy, and you're more than welcome to have some of that, but we also need to make sure we have a good balanced plate. And that's a good way of just teaching them to make the right choices when it comes to eating and choosing food. So.
Yeah. So there's this huge trend out there of board meals, snack boards, appetizer boards, cheese boards, charcuterie boards, whatever you want to call it. So we've got this big trend. It's been bubbling up. It's very, Instagram friendly, certainly.
Yeah.
You talk in your new book, Beautiful Boards, about how the Lazy Susan really was kind of the precursor. And when I think Lazy Susan, I think like 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, old, like retro vintage. But that really was the precursor to this explosion in this huge trend of boards. Just talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I grew up with a wooden Lazy Susan in the middle of our dining table. It's still on the middle of my parents' dining table, where my mom would put all of the meal out, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. She'd put it on the Lazy Susan. We would all serve ourselves off of it. And now she didn't necessarily put all the food directly on the board or serve it in as creative or artful ways as sometimes I do, but it was the concept. And I think it's definitely influenced me as I have started to serve meals, whether it be with our family or entertaining, to just bring people together around a board or one place where everybody can reach in and select what they want.
Mm-hmm. So you got your book, Beautiful Boards. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So gorgeous. And I'm trying to remember how I even discovered you, because I'm loving all these board. Maybe I saw it on Amazon, but I love this concept of everything for your appetizer, your snack, your dinner on this big board. It could be a rectangular, it could be round, but just kind of take us inside your book. Let's just kind of start pulling it apart a little bit and just tell us about the book. And then we'll get into sort of specifics about how we can create boards that are as beautiful as yours.
Absolutely. So the Beautiful Boards book has 50 creative snack boards, meal boards, appetizer boards, really a board for any occasion. I cover it all. I had to narrow down over 200 of my ideas to 50 to fit in this book. And we just created a great category out of it where you can start out with like appetizers and specific diets with your basic snack boards. And then I move into meal boards where it may be a dinner board for your family or a meal for friends that you're having over. And then there's also the holiday boards, which are just creative and fun and festive and just bring such a livelihood to the board for a special occasion or holiday. And then, of course, dessert boards. We couldn't leave those out because they're just fun and everybody loves a good sweet treat board.
Mm. And you've got breakfast and brunch as well. We can't forget about that.
Let me forget that. Absolutely. That's actually one of our most commonly made boards is our breakfast board. So we make a pancake board or a bagel board almost every single week, or a toast board, which that board's not in the book. Breakfast boards are our absolute favorite.
And your pancake board. I mean, my boys are huge pancake fanatics. And I love this idea of having a board with pancakes and then all those toppings. And, the one thing I do notice when I'm looking at your boards, whether it be for entertaining or breakfast or dinner or a snack, you really go heavy on the fruits and vegetables. I am blown away. When you think of these boards, you think it's cheese, it's crackers. Like, right. Don't you think maybe not in the dessert board, but your boards are really produce centric.
Yes, I just think it's great to have the option, and it just pairs. It's a nice palate cleanser. It's a nice way to dress up a pancake. Obviously, we have a little competition when it's the family eating a pancake board is who can put the most fruit, or select the most different fruits to top their pancakes with, and it just becomes a little game for the kids. And then just when it's a big cheese charcuterie board, it's nice to have that fresh, juicy fruit on there, or a little bites of vegetables that you can dip in hummus just to, for something refreshing amongst all the salty and rich foods that otherwise are on a large charcuterie or cheese board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely do a great job balancing it out. And of course, the colors are beautiful and vibrant. So let's back up then from toppings and just talk about the boards themselves. Because when people hear a board meal or a snack board, they're like, I don't have a board, or what am I going to put this on? And so what are some of the kind of the essentials that we should have in terms of the boards? And then what about the bowls? So boards and bowls. Talk
boards
us
and
through.
bowls, I love it. And then here we go with the B's again.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I say, start out with just a small collection of boards. Find a board that fits your family, the size board that you could serve a meal or a snack off of that would feed your family, and then grow your collection from there. So you have some small boards, medium boards, and larger boards based on the crowd and the number of people you're trying to serve, and based on the occasion, whether it be an appetizer board or a full meal board. And I always tell people, boards are my favorite because I think they're beautiful and they just hold up really well to a bountiful spread of food on them. But you could use anything. If you needed to use a sheet pan for a snack board, or if you needed to use a nice round platter that you have, as long as you have a good base to it, use whatever you have on hand. And then as far as the serving bowls, I find them everywhere. I mean, Target, World Market, Crate and Barrel, they all have such a great selection of small little serving bowls that are perfect for adding anything with a brine or jams or anything that might have a juice to it that could bleed off onto other foods that maybe you don't want to expose them to.
And where do you get your boards? Crate and Barrel, and then we have to talk about your dad's.
Yes.
But for the average person who's out there I need to get a board. Because I know for me, I've got a beautiful round board that I got at Crate and Barrel. It's got kind of a rim around it, and it's my go-to. But where would you recommend people go?
Of course, my dad's boards are my favorite boards, and we just started our board business. So they're the ones I would go to first because we have a great line of boards from small to medium to large, and they all have the features on them that I think are so important to be able to build boards and serve them. They're lightweight, they're thin, they have beveled edges for easy carrying. And so those over the years have become features that are so important to me as I'm building boards and serving boards. I think you can just be on the lookout. It is such a trend, and you'll see boards almost everywhere. I was just in Trader Joe's, and they have some little mini boards right by their cheese section now. And Target has a great selection of different sizes of boards. I think World Market has a great selection. Crate and Barrel, of course, some of my favorites come from there. I have one that spans down the table that I love from there as well. So I think just keeping an eye out, and you'd be surprised if you're truly looking for a board, they'll find you because they're everywhere in all sizes, shapes, and prices.
And let's go back to your dad then. So I was just telling you before we got rolling today that the last few podcasts that I've had, my guests have credited their dads for really getting them into the kitchen. And I know you're going to credit your dad now for creating these boards. So obviously he's a craftsman, but tell us a little bit about your dad and these boards. And I personally, just so everybody knows, I have a friend who just moved into a new condo, and Tim and I are going over there for dinner on Friday. Well, right now it's Wednesday. Anyway, as a housewarming gift, I got them Maegan's book, Beautiful Boards, and then one of her dad's 18-inch by 12-inch walnut wood boards. So it's a really special gift because it's not just the book, which is signed, but also the board that is handcrafted by Maegan's dad. And I think that's really special. So I'm excited about that. But tell us a little bit more about your dad, where he lives, what does he do, and what's the website if people want to actually get the book and the board.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing that. I hope your friends love it. My dad has always been crafty with woodworking. He's a hard worker. And when we lived in Boston, which I think we have in common as well.
There you go.
Yeah. So we lived in Boston for a few years, and he was really in the heyday. He had just retired and was just really working up a lot of wood crafty things and had gotten into the boards. And he shipped us probably 50 boards. We lived in a 400 square foot apartment. And we had this huge box delivered that took up our entire portion. It was full of 50 boards. And so I was handing them out right and left to our friends. I was like, "Want a board? Who wants a board? Everybody get a board." And they're beautiful. And he just put so much time and effort into each one, and they're just super quality. So over the years, it's amazing how we've come full circle. And here we are starting a board and business together where I can help him, or I design the line of boards that he fit the way I love to serve them, and he handcrafts them. He selects the wood, he crafts each one by hand from start to finish and finishes them off with nice food safe oils. And then we bring them down here and I put them in a fulfillment center, and now their business is live and it's called boardsbythebakermama.com. And we just launched this past Monday. So far, so great. And I'm just excited that we are able to share these boards with others. They make for just great items to have in the kitchen and for serving, and they'll last for years.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm super excited to get it, and I will in the show notes. Everybody put a link to that website so you can check those out. Hey, before I forget, how do you clean these boards? People might be thinking, all right, everybody's grabbing their food off a board. Like, how do you clean this thing?
It's actually very simple. I say just some warm water and a little bit of dish soap. Scrub it with your kitchen scrubber or I use one of those wiry scrubbers if it has any sort of a stain on it. So if you ever get a little bit of meat oil, or if you have any like strawberry markings on it, just give it a little elbow grease and rinse it really good, and then dry it really well and let it air dry completely. So don't store it away until it's completely air dried. And then depending on how often you use the board, I usually every 2 to 4 months, I'll give them a good coating and some food safe oil. And it brings them right back to make them just look brand new. So they're really simple. They hold up really well if it's good quality wood, and it's very easy.
Maybe you should partner with Sponge Daddy, because I'm feeling like that might be just the way to go. Yes. I see Sponge Daddy in your future. So where did you live in Boston, by the way?
We lived in Cambridge.
Oh, okay. I'm in Lexington, just up the road.
Okay. Yeah. We loved it. It was a great 2 years. We were there in business school, and so just a great 2 years, and miss it. I love being able to walk around everywhere.
Yeah, of course. It's cold.
Albeit it was cold. And my biggest coat I own, it was from those days, and it was great memories.
I bet it was. And now you're down in Dallas, and it's probably warm and sunny, and I'm sitting here with a blanket on my lap. So, oh, not easy. So we see all these photos, in your book, or where maybe on Pinterest or Instagram, and these boards look so gorgeous. And then, of course, you say to yourself, oh my gosh, there's just no way I can do that. I cannot create a pin-worthy board. I bet you can help us right now figure out how we can be creative and create beautiful boards. Like, what are the little secrets that we need to know? Because I look at the pictures in your book, and these are jam-packed boards. So there is a little secret to it. So what are those secrets?
I mean, I think that there's no rules to it. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's about putting food on a board and making it bountiful, and it just naturally becomes beautiful. I think just having a appreciation for the different foods that you put on the board and just seeing it all come together is really the secret to it. There's truly no rules to how you do it. I walk everyone through step by step in this book on exactly how to do each board. I even have step-by-step pictures on the boards that might seem a little bit more complicated if there is a step to making it look like a turkey or a snowman or whatever it may be. I definitely walk you through each step of doing that. But I think with time, it becomes so natural. And once you've done 1 or 2 of them, I think you see it's a lot easier. And I hear from people all the time, gosh, that was so fun. And I think people are intimidated by all the beautiful pictures they see, but really anybody can do it. It's just finding the inspiration. So that's what my main goal is, to inspire people, to give them the ideas, to give them the vision, and then let them run with it, make it their own. I love it when people share their renditions or their recreations of my boards and put their own spin on it, because it's just as beautiful, it's just as delicious, and everyone enjoys it just as much. So.
I remember the first time I did a board, I did it this summer, and I put all these like yummy sort of snacky, lunchy things on it, hummus and carrot sticks and all that. And I gave it to Simon. He's my 21-year-old. And he literally took this board and he ate the whole thing. I mean, I was sort of thinking in my mind, oh, well, I'll share this. No, it's completely gone.
It's so approachable. Like, people just are, when they see a board loaded with just a lot of yummy snacks, and goodies, they just gravitate toward it and they want to snack on it and they want to try new things. It's just beautiful, the conversations that people have when they're surrounding a board with a bunch of different items on it, and how they pair certain things and how much they like one thing, or, oh, I didn't know I would love that. So it's just a variety. Once you put a good variety on there, it just automatically becomes beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the book. You have a mimosa board. You've got this build your own tacos. You've got this build your own Caesar salad. No, it's not a Caesar. It's a Cobb salad. Yeah. Oh, here I am. Yeah, the Cobb salad. Absolutely. And it's actually the board, when I'm looking at your Cobb salad here, that's the board I own, or at least it looks like the board that I own with that kind of lip around it.
Yep.
So you've got this mound of lettuce in the middle, and then around it, because people can't see it, but I'll put this on the blog, you've got pecans and hard-boiled eggs that are sliced up, and roasted chicken and tomatoes and red onion. And I think that's bread. Is this this is croutons and dressing and avocado and blue cheese and bacon bits and cheese and dressing.
Yes.
So
everything
gorgeous.
You could build your own salad with. And so the story behind this board is really great one. And we love this board so much, and probably have it at least once a week, if not every other week, because our kids actually eat salad because of this board. I put this board out one night a couple years ago, let the kids create their own salad, and now all four of them, we drive through Chick-fil-A, they want a salad. They just, they piled it high and love building themselves. Now, if I would have plated it that first time, just here's your salad, I think they would have been like, no, thank you, I don't like salad. But they request this board just as much as they request a pancake board. So.
And then you could change up. You could do, all the add-ins, the mix-ins, you could certainly, so this is like your inspiration to start with a salad and then get creative. And maybe there's dried cranberries one week, or, you could totally introduce new things.
Yes. And the whole point is to use what you have on hand. Don't think you have to go out and buy the full list of exact ingredients you see listed. You check your pantry, check your fridge. What do you have on hand that can come together? That's a great thing about a board, is you can put a lot of that on there, leftovers and anything that you just keep stocked, and make it into a meal or into a great snack that people will enjoy.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to reduce food waste, because you're just going through the fridge, the pantry, got some nuts left over, got a little shredded cheese here, and then kind of build it from there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of my favorite ways to use up food that we have on hand, and make sure that I'm big on no food goes to waste.
Yes, it's a good philosophy.
Yeah.
You have a candy cane caprese board, and I wanted to talk about this board because the holidays are coming up, and over the holidays, of course, we're all baking and we're eating so many cookies, and sometimes it's nice to, if you're entertaining, not to always be putting out the goodies.
Yes.
So what's on your candy cane? What's it made from?
It's made from mozzarella cheese, tomatoes, basil, a little olive oil, and balsamic vinaigrette, and that's it. It's so simple. It's just shaped like a candy cane. So impressive. I mean, you put that out along with another, your spread of other goodies for the holidays, and people will just go crazy over it. But it's so simple.
It is so cute. And I'm actually having a dinner party. I was telling Maria Lichty, who's from Two Peas in Their Pod, she's actually going live today on the podcast. And awesome. I was telling her that whenever I have friends over for dinner, I always use it as an opportunity to pull out a new cookbook, because believe me, I get a lot of new cookbooks, and try something for the dinner party. And so in a few weeks on Nantucket, where we spend a lot of time, they have this annual event called Christmas Stroll, and everybody dresses up in their ugly sweaters and strolls around the town. And it's a great opportunity to support local businesses, because you're out to eat and you're obviously shopping, and then there's a parade and the kids are caroling. I mean, it's a great community event. And so, of course, I have to have an ugly sweater dinner party.
Yeah, fun.
And so I'm thinking maybe this candy cane caprese board will be a nice little appetizer.
So perfect. Yeah, it would be so perfect. And everybody loves it. I mean, I feel like it's such a common or popular appetizer to serve. And it's simple. It's such a simple way to serve something so beautiful.
I have this obsession with dishes and bowls and porcelain. And now if I start developing an obsession with boards, my husband is literally going to come after you. He's like, please, where are you putting all this stuff? I'm like, I do not know, but I cannot resist.
never know when you're going to need that size board or that shape board or that little serving bowl. I have a whole case of little serving bowls now, and I use them all. It just depends on the board and the crowd, and I love switching it up.
Mm-hmm. So you've got all the holidays covered. You've got movie night covered. You have a game day board, which, thank you very much, is mostly fruits and veggies. And if the Patriots make it to the Super Bowl, which maybe they will, my friend always has a party, and I will bring, of course, I have a Patriots helmet. It's like a helmet snack bowl kind of thing, and you could add nuts to it.
Yes,
but I'm thinking, if we get to that point, I might make your game day snack board. Tell everybody what's on your game day board. It's so much fun.
Oh, it's a great one. So there's a football shape in the middle made out of brown colored snacks. So you've got your snacky foods, but then around it, I put a variety of green fruits and veggies so that people have something a little healthier, and it makes it look like a football field. So you've got a good coverage of greens to select from with some green dips. And you could also serve, some ranch and other things on the side. And then in the middle, you got your snacky foods like pretzels and figs and nuts and so forth. So it's a crowd pleaser, that's for sure.
And definitely having all those green fruits and veggies, because you've got the playing field. So why not?
Yes.
Why not?
It's creative and it's snackable. So it's great to put out and on a table while everyone's watching the game. And then every time I serve it, it's a huge hit. People love it.
Are you getting lots of response from readers? People sending you pictures of things they've created?
Yes. That's my favorite part. I just love it when people share their recreations of boards, and people are get into it, and especially the stories of, this is my first board, or you wouldn't believe how much everyone enjoyed it. I had so much fun making it. That's a reason I share with others, is so that I can inspire them and let them run with it.
Any flops in there? Any 911 calls? Like, I need help with my board.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely get all the questions. And certainly if it's someone's first time, they'll message me, and I really try to be as responsive as quickly as possible so I can help them out and encourage them. I think it's just that some people just need a little bit of confidence boost. And I'm happy to be there to answer their questions and cheer them on along the way. So,
you know how there's the turkey talk line, the Butterball turkey talk line?
Yes,
maybe you can,
board. Yeah.
You need the hotline. Yes.
The board hotline. I love it. Especially like this next week will be pretty busy with turkey board. I have a turkey board, and it just went wild last year. And so I have a feeling it'll pick back up here in the next week or so with everybody building them for their Thanksgiving festivities. So it's always fun. It's fun to answer people's questions and any substitutions they want to make. They just want to make sure that it'll work.
Right. I do a lot of cooking classes with kids, and I always create a rainbow out of vegetables, and I have like cauliflower florets for the clouds. And again, it's sort of a little bit of a precursor to the board phenomenon.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if you have a rainbow board, but I might have to.
I do. It's a beautiful one. Yes.
Oh.
It has such a variety. And that's the one that I really like to talk to people about, is I put just a great selection of fruits and veggies to create the rainbow in there, but you could certainly just use one from each color. Like I put in each color of the rainbow, I put like red peppers and tomatoes and strawberries and so forth, but you could use just red peppers or just strawberries. And so it's I just want to give you as much inspiration as possible and let you run with it.
And that's on your blog?
No, that's in the book.
That's in the book? How did I miss that?
Yes.
What?
No, it is on page 45.
Really?
It's one of my favorites.
There's your summer fun board. Let's see, 45. Okay, I'm going. She's going. Oh my gosh, there it is. You're right. I do remember that. Ooh, and I have a similar board to that too.
Yeah.
The one with the little handle. Oh, it's a stunner. And you've got crackers for the clouds. Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
Yes, and of course that one you would serve with some, you serve with like a fruit yogurt dip on the side, as well as a, ranch or a cream cheese of sorts that you could dip everything in. So.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I love your book.
Yeah,
so, New Year's Eve, you even have a New Year's Eve board.
Yes, it's one of my absolute favorites. So in the middle, I love it. It has a cheese clock for the countdown. It's just a fancy board, black and white, and just you're great for a New Year's Eve celebration. So it's like your black tie board.
How'd you make the clock?
The clock, we wrote on it with just cookie icing, black cookie icing. Super simple.
Is it cheese then? It's like a brie or something?
It's a cheese, it's a soft, brie. And I tell people in the book that you can take it, and it's great. Our market here, Whole Foods and just our central market here in Texas. Yeah, I buy the brie wheel in the cheese section. And I take it over to the cake decorator, and I'll have them write on it. And usually they'll do it for free. It's like not like they can quickly write on it, or you could do it yourself. So.
Oh no, I'm not doing that. I am not doing that myself. No way.
It's nice to give people options. So like if you feel intimidated by that part of it, then take it over to the bakery section, and I guarantee someone in the bakery will write on it real quick with some black cookie icing.
So that's the best tip anybody has ever given me. We're in episode 64, 65 of the podcast. Taking the brie cheese to the bakery section and having them decorate is by far my favorite tip of all time. Thank you very much. You just totally took all the stress out of my life. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I try to keep it simple. Nothing about this should be stressful.
Kudos to you. And you even have a vegan board, and you have gluten-free.
Yes. So those are two very delicious boards. They're both very beautiful. And I want to give, people options. I feel like we live in a world today where there's so many dietary restrictions and allergies, and you just want to make sure that when you're building a board, you take that into consideration. If I know the crowd that's coming over, or if I can at least poll them, I always ask, is there any allergies or aversions? And I try to accommodate. So I've built this gluten-free board several times because we have a friend who eats a gluten-free diet, and it satisfies everybody. Honestly, I don't think anybody ever even knows that it's completely gluten-free. Yeah, the pretzels, you would never know. They're crunchy. They're delicious. The crackers, same thing. The chips. And this is just a great snack board. So,
yes.
And then same with the vegan board. Like it has a hummus and a good, nice spreads on it. There's vegan cheeses out there now. There's this fig salami, which is delicious. So there's options, and I feel like you can make a board for truly any occasion, any crowd that you could please. You can please a crowd.
And I have not seen the fig salami.
Oh yes, it's delicious. It almost tastes like the filling of a fig Newton.
Ooh, all right. And that's Whole Foods or Trader Joe's?
Whole Foods has it. Okay. Amazon Fresh has it. World Market has it. So it comes in it looks like a sausage log. It comes wrapped kind of in a packaging, like a sausage log, and you slice it in little slices. It's great on like a cracker or just by itself.
And I love that it's not like sort of this faux meat, but actually made out of figs. It's just made out of a fruit.
Yes. So it's delicious. So this board I tried all the vegan cheeses and meats to create this board, and I tell you, it was not pretty. Some of the items were not edible. So I definitely narrowed it down to the items that I knew. And we as a family taste tested and with some friends as well that were still delicious, even though we're not vegan, I still wanted to make sure that everything on the boards were delicious.
Right. So you were just taste testing to make sure the products you recommended were like the best ones out there.
Absolutely.
I like that. So I remember seeing a post you did, I think maybe it was on Instagram or maybe your blog, where you gave us a behind the scenes of what it looked like when you were photographing this book. And I remember seeing you had plastic bins piled literally to the ceiling with all of your food and props and ingredients. So what was it like behind the scenes to photograph every one of these boards? And did you do it all over a couple of days? How did you do this?
Oh man, I still don't know how we did it, but we did it over a course of 2 weeks. So it was a quick, the whole cookbook, like how it came to be, was a quick process. We did it all in about 5 months. So I spent the first 3 months really creating the boards. I would create each board at least 3 times to make sure it was exactly how I wanted it, especially if I hadn't created that specific board before. So at home here, I had a tub for every board that had any sort of non-perishable item in it. And then all the perishable stuff was kept in our fridge. And it was just a logistical planning. I wanted to create boards on the same days that I could use similar ingredients across boards, so we weren't wasting food. And then there were days when us as a family ate 4 boards. We'd have a breakfast board, a lunch board, a snack board, and a dessert board. So it was fun. We all had a great time. But the 2 weeks that we actually photographed the board, I drug all of the tubs and boards and serving dishes and everything to the photographer's studio. And we just took up shop there. She had a kitchen in-house, and I had some great friends helping me, and my mom came down to help me for a week, and we just knocked them out. We did 6 to 8 boards per day, and it was just a lot of food. It was great because at the end of each day we would try to plan the boards to where we would eat, lunch off of one of them and snack off of one of them and then dinner because we would go late into the night. And at the end of the day, if there were any fruits or veggies that we weren't going to reuse the next day on the board, the photographer would juice them or smoothie them the next morning for us. So when we arrived, we had these fresh veggie fruit juice or smoothies ready to go to get us going for the day. And it was fun, but it was the hardest thing I've ever done. To be honest.
Yeah. I can't even, I don't even want to be a fly on the wall. That just sounds crazy.
It was crazy.
What was the hardest board to create and photograph?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think once I had the vision for them, none of them were super hard. That's my goal, is to really just try and create these boards so they're not hard. I'm flipping through right now to see if any just
How about the one that just took the most work nailing it to make it easy?
To make it easy. Well, oh goodness. I'd say I was going to share this the other day. The Princess board took on many different versions building up to creating it. And I just really simplified it in the end. But my daughter wanted a crown and then she wanted a castle. And so I literally created a crown board and a castle board. And I stared at it for a good few hours and was like, nope, nobody's going to recreate that. So it got scratched and I started over. I just went over and over until I got it to just how I wanted it so that other people would be inspired to recreate it, because I really wanted people to recreate them. Same with the unicorn board just kind of came to be. We were talking about unicorns and Brookie loves unicorns. And so it was on a whim and it actually booted another board. I forget which board it booted, but it was just too cute not to include. The warm boards, of course, during the photography portion of it were tricky because we wanted to make sure the food was fresh. And then in the photos, the food looked super fresh. So timing wise, getting it all prepped and onto the board. But when we're at home, I just keep everything in a 200-degree warm oven, and I put everything that doesn't need to be warm on the board, and then I place the warm stuff on, and we take it to the table and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure it was not easy.
Another board that it really stands out that I just am so proud of is the engagement board. It really could be for any occasion, honestly, because it's so beautiful. But it's a tiered cake on a wooden cake stand with several beautiful snackies under it. Now that one started out, I had made it into the shape of an engagement ring. I made it into the shape of a heart and so it took on several renditions before I got to this final version that I thought people would love the most.
That's cool. Yeah, the two-tiered. I like that one.
Yes.
And by the way, my husband, you mentioned unicorn. Yeah. I went to Marshall's the other day and I bought him his ugly Christmas sweater, and it is this hideous sweater with this unicorn on it. You'll have to follow me on Instagram, because in the next couple of weeks when I'm in Nantucket for Christmas stroll, I will post these pictures, and it is the most hideous sweater I have ever seen. He's like, you bought me a sweater last year. I don't want to wear a new sweater. I'm like, oh no, you are going to wear this sweater.
You have to. I love that it has a unicorn on it. That's awesome.
You will wear it proudly. You will wear it proudly.
Yes, that's going to be hilarious. I will definitely be following on that.
Yes. So what's next for you? You've just been knee deep into boards. Your dad, you and your dad launched this business. And anything else going on with you? Like, what's your next big project adventure? Or are you just kind of enjoying the ride for now?
I think we're just going to enjoy the ride for now. I mean, we just launched the board business on Monday, and so that's been fun. And we're going to really work to grow it and keep it and just take it to, the next level of whatever that might be, and just still enjoy the cookbook, spread the word on it. I think the holidays are such a great time for this book because it's such a gift. It's such a great gift. And I think that anybody could enjoy it, whether they love preparing food or not. I think it's just inspiring, and it's a great table book, kitchen book for people to browse through. So we're just enjoying it. I'm ready to, slow down a bit over the holidays and soak in family time. But wouldn't take any of this for granted. I've had some wonderful opportunities and I love what I do.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And I do have a Yankee swap planned with some friends. I don't know if you do this down south, but you all bring a gift, something you love. So I'm bringing your book wrapped up. Aww. And I told my friend Wendy, I'm like, hey, you better look at me when I walk in the room because you're going to want this gift. Yeah. And cause she's like totally into boards. This friend of mine, like she's the one who really got me into them. And so you pick a number out of a hat, right? So if you're number 1, that's the best number because you get to pick the first gift. And then if you pick the last number, you're at the very end. And number 1, like you go around and you get to kind of steal each other's, it's a swap, but it really is a steal. Yep.
Yeah, we call ours Dirty Santa.
Oh, yeah.
Because where you like steal from each other, it gets pretty intense.
It gets intense. You're like, oh no, I wanted that. Don't take that from me.
Right.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Yeah, we call it the Yankee swap and you're Dirty Santa. Interesting.
Yeah, and White Elephant. Well, White Elephant's kind of more of like a not so great gift, but I like the Dirty Santa because it's usually something good that everybody wants.
Yes.
So that's the fun part of it is there becomes this competition to get it.
And then you're stealing. It's so mean. It's mean unless you're number one. And if you're number one,
right. You're in a good place.
Yes, I'm getting the good gift. So I have one final question. I have this mason jar I keep in my office and I add these little mystery questions to it. I'm going to pull one out. Nothing too scary or not as scary as the Yankee swap.
Okay.
So here's the question. Okay. Glasses on. So you're a foodie. We're all foodies, but is there one food that you absolutely hate?
Oh, people are going to go crazy on this one. I do not love cheesecake. And I'm a sweets lover, but I have never been one to love cheesecake. It's the one food that just, if it were the only dessert served, and I eat dessert every night. So if it were the one dessert served, I might pass.
So we don't have a cheesecake board in the book, is what you're saying.
There's no cheesecake board. And given how much I like cheese. So, it's just something about the texture, I think it is, that just I do not love. Now, I've had a few cheesecakes with cookies all crumbled in them and chocolate sauce all over them and totally not your traditional cheesecake that I could, take down. But for the most part, it's the one food that just stands out to me that I don't choose. Otherwise, I eat everything. I'm a very adventurous eater.
As are your kids. And I will tell you the one dessert that I don't like is when I was in college, I was in a sorority and we were in a pie eating contest. Oh. I was like, for the sorority, they nominated me and it was a blueberry pie eating contest. And I, to this day, remember my partner like shoving this in my mouth. It was so awful, so awful.
And see, a little thing like that will like impact you your entire life. I wonder if something like that happened with me in cheesecake. But.
Perhaps. You're in a cheesecake eating contest, but you've blocked it out. You don't want to remember.
No, I hear you.
Yeah. So no blueberry pie. And I love blueberries, but
I know. And it's
no
so
pie.
Weird. It's just so weird. So
no pie. No pie.
Right.
Not for me. Maegan, thank you so much for being on the show. Your book is just so gorgeous and it's such a celebration. And, as a dietitian, I appreciate it because I think you really elevate fruits and veggies and you're into getting kids to eat healthy. And that just makes me so happy.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your support and excitement.
All right. Well, thanks again and come back soon.
Will do.
And to all of my listeners, thank you so much for tuning in today. Wasn't this a fun show? Do not forget, we're doing a giveaway of beautiful boards. Head on over to lizshealthytable.com/podcast and enter for a chance to win. This is for my U.S. listeners only. Sorry. If you love the show, tell a friend about it. Post a review on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, wherever you get your podcasts. And as always, thanks for listening to Liz's Healthy Table.